Our guest in this segment also knows about feeding people. Commissioner John Hardy, good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you guys for the opportunity. Yeah, I always love when Pastor Tim comes on. I mean, he's a spitfire. He's full of energy. He brings it every time he comes in. He brings it. He's a huge asset to our community. And what's so impressive to me about that organization is how they do it all on their own. They do. I mean, when you go up there, there's gentlemen standing there waiting to help you get stuff out of your vehicle, and they have found. To me, being a very entrepreneurial guy and being a fiscally responsible person, I love that they have found a way to find their own way. I mean, they went out and they've found contracts and they found people that will take their rags, will take their plastic, will take whatever they're recycling. They found a marketplace for it. And Pastor Tim is not afraid to get dirty. He was in the box truck this morning, and he'll go make deliveries. He'll make pickups. He'll do what he has to do, and that's a huge asset to our community. Our community is a wonderful community, but we're not like without any other community. We have problems and issues, but we are blessed to have people in our community that are willing to step up and help people. I tell my children, I tell anybody that I talk to, there is not a better feeling in the world than to be able to help somebody. Accomplish something that maybe they couldn't accomplish on their own, just be a part of that, help them figure out an issue, someone who's in need. I've been to some of our day report graduations, and you talk to those young people or anybody, not even just young people, just people that have been owned by their addiction, and they will tell you that. That's the word they use. My addiction owned me, and everything I did revolved around my addiction and how I was going to feed that addiction. And when they get out of that cycle, when they finally can break that cycle, you hear some amazing stories of what people do. And I think the biggest tribute to those type programs are when you go back and you see that the people that went through those programs are involved in those programs. Mm-hmm. So at our day report center, and I know Pastor Tim has people that's in his facility that have been through his program, that's a real telltale sign of a very successful and organization that people are bought in on. Because if you have went through the program and now you are willing to be a part of that program to help others, I think that's a huge success.
Well, and Pastor Tim is one of those guys you talk about in terms of being in charge of the rescue mission and taking it over. He's a very difficult guy to say no to.
Right.
He's got that drive in him and that spark and that passion. He's really hard to say no.
Yeah.
John, you probably not know the answer to this, but with all our collective programs, what is success for breaking the drug habit, percentage-wise? Do you have any sense at all?
I don't. That's a real Tim Zaya question. Yeah. Tim kind of heads all that stuff up for us. He runs a really wonderful program over there, multifaceted program. I mean, we have the day report center, we have the drug court. We have the treatment center. There's a lot that goes on over there. I don't know what the success rate is.
Bill, let me butt in here a second because Tim's going to be on Monday morning at 8.
Oh, great.
I'm sorry, Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. Okay. So tomorrow morning at 8, we'll have him on the program. He can answer that question. And Tim will tell you, because this was the last time Tim was on, this was an issue for somebody who had a lot of questions about Tim and the way he was doing the job. And he will tell you it is difficult to graduate from the program at the Day Report Center because he makes it a strenuous program.
Yeah, I've had people approach me and be not happy with something that Mr. Zaya has done, and I said, listen, it's his program. He runs a tight program, and the rules going in. The rules are very, very clear. The rules are stated. These are what you must do, and this is what you must not do. And if you break those rules, Tim is going to hold you to a very high standard.
Yes.
And that's fine because we want to have a high success rate, and we want when people come out of that program, we want them to be hopefully have their addiction behind them and continue to move forward. And once again, talking about fiscally responsible, that facility over there is ran mostly on grants, and it really, really helps subdue our jail bill. If we didn't have that program over there, if we just locked everybody up that went to that program, we would add $7 million to our jail bill.
Are any of the grants in jeopardy?
I don't think so. Most of that is long term. Some of that stuff is coming from the drug money that's coming from the First Foundation, and there's some of that is long-term grant money that's going to fund that. So that was the questions that I had when some of the grants came up. But no, I think we're in pretty good shape on that stuff. So
shifting gears, the impact fee started yesterday.
November 1st, yes, sir, was the first day for impact fees, and so that took a little while to get that off the ground, and we started talking about that when I first came into the county commission January 1, and we were hopeful to maybe have that up and running about July 1st, but when you're putting some type of new fee structure in place like that, and we have to make sure that we're following all of the legal, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. It got drug out a little bit, and so. But November 1st, yesterday, was the first day of impact fees.
Those are residential only.
Those are residential only, and for people that don't understand what those are growth paying for growth. Those are new residential homes that are being built in the community. And that money is broken up into 5 different sections and goes in to fund, can only fund growth. It can only fund new growth in those 5 sections. And the county will use those monies to help our services and infrastructure, and making sure that we're trying to serve our taxpayers as efficiently as possible.
And just to avoid any confusion, because these have been some of the questions that we've had since we began discussing impact fees, if you're putting a deck on your house or adding an addition to it or remodeling it, impact fees or not?
No impact fee. Impact fees are only on new residential construction. If you maybe have a home fire and you're replacing your home, if you're adding an addition to your home, there's no fees for that. It's only for new residential construction.
If I move to the county and buy an existing home, but I'm from outside the county, do I pay an impact fee?
You do not pay an impact fee.
Because I'm buying an existing home.
You're buying an existing home.
Even if I'm new to the county?
And if you're brand spanking new to the county, which we have a lot of new people to our county, but these are only on new homes that are coming out of the ground.
John, as a refresher, we've gone over these categories in the past, but as a refresher, there are 5 categories. They are
the Board of Education. There are the county. What do we call that? It's like their county goes towards like our buildings, and we're going to use some of the administration, county administration, county administration. There is the police. And then the other 2 are
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. I'm sorry, Parks and Rec. Now, police and fire are together.
Okay,
they're one. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if I got 20 acres and I'm building a house for my kid on the 20 acres, impact fees?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a one-time fee, and it was around $5,500, but then when the city went into it, the calculations changed a little bit, and I think it's just a tick under $5,000. I'm sorry, I don't know that number.
Okay.
That number's kind of bounced around, but yes, if it's a new piece of property that's being developed or a new home that's being built on that property, you would pay the impact fee.
And you pay it at the time the permit is filed?
Yes, when you file for the permit, that's one of the things that you have to do. So we wanted to make sure that we did it at the permit side. We didn't want to do it at the land development side, because sometimes when lots can be developed, can sit for 20, 30 years. So we wanted to do it right at the permit time.
Probably not often, but it could happen. Is the impact fee transferable if somebody bought your application?
I believe that we landed on a 90-day transfer. So it's only transferable for 90 days.
And that's payable all at once?
It is, yes.
All right. And we are on November the 4th. Have there been any that you're aware of at this early time?
I don't know. I'll ask that question on Thursday when we have our commission meeting on Thursday. This will be the first meeting that we've had since they've been in place, and we'll look into that and see.
So for every 20 you get, there's going to be roughly $100,000 collected. Are you projecting a number for the upcoming fiscal year?
That's going to be a number that's going to can move up and down by how many homes are built per year. We usually predict anywhere between 1,200 and 1,400 homes. So I think we had budgeted somewhere around maybe $4 to $5 million that was going to come in from the impact fees, and then that's broken up further into those 5 different categories, and then those categories are further broken down into only new growth. So if we want to use money for the police, we can only use that to buy a new cruiser for a new police officer that we're hiring. So right now we are budgeted in our budget for, I think, 68 deputy sheriffs. We just received the SAFER grant. I think Eddie and Steve talked to you guys about that. So we got a SAFER grant which will pay for, I believe, it's 5 more officers. And that's a graduated schedule for how long that will pay for. But that money can only be used for growth. Same way with the Parks and Rec. It can only be used, can't be used for operations, but it can be used for buying new park land or buying new equipment for new parks. So it can only be used for growth. A lot of rules and regulations in the impact fees that I did not know and really didn't understand that it was that defined and how the money could be spent. And the problem is there's not an organization. I really struggled with this when we had our early meetings about it. When I said, who do we talk to about this? What organization, what agency, coming from an agency for everything, what agency oversees this? And there's no state agency, there's no federal agency that really oversees impact fees. It's all by case law. And most of the case law comes out of Florida or comes out of California. And most of the case law has come from overreaching municipalities or overreaching counties that have maybe went too far in what they were going to do. So when we hired the company that did all of our consulting work for us, a lot of their stuff is based off on case law that has been proven and through the courts.
Which begs the question, within the county, which department manages the impact fees? The collection and the distribution?
Our planning and permitting. Yeah, so that's Brian Ross inherited all that and his crew, and then Steve over in our permitting office and his employees.
And the distribution is done by formula.
Yes, there's a formula that's it's distributed, and then there's 5 separate funds set up, and then it goes into those funds, and then the impact fees are distributed out of those funds.
So before those fees can be used, do the department heads have to apply for the funds and show that they're spending it on new growth so that there's not a violation of how the money is used?
Yes, and I'm sure in each one of those expenditures will come in front of the county commission, and we will approve those expenditures through those. I'm not sure. I don't want to overstate that. Now, I know that money, like Parks and Rec, when Parks and Rec goes to spend that money, it may just be the Parks and Rec board that will vote on spending that money. I'm not sure if the county commission oversees every dollar of that, but there's boards in place for all of those places. I'm sure the county commission will probably oversee the spending for the sheriff's department. The school board obviously would be responsible for their own. They're duly elected officials. I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure. There's going to be plenty of oversight on how the money's being spent, because the last thing we want is as a clawback.
Last week, Eddie threw a real surprise to us about the sports complex and the STIF. And I know I've heard that the governor is not particularly enamored with the thought of a STIF, but also Berkley County, or the Development Authority, has made quite a bit of progress in making this happen. What are the major obstacles that you see before this can come in fulfillment?
I think there's a lot of obstacles. I mean, I'm a very optimistic person, and I believe that this will be a wonderful facility for Berkley County. I think the studies have been done that the county can support it. I think the number one thing you have to look at is make sure that the county can support this, that this is something that can happen in our county, and there is support for it financially from outside sources. There's a management company that manages these and have had success for these. So that's the number one thing. Make sure that this is going to be a success. I think that some of the hurdles that are going to be in front of this is getting water and sewer across the interstate there. So the West Virginia Department of Highways is proposing a new like a visitor center, welcome center there at that exit. So that's going to require some water and sewer on the west side there. So
that's exit 12 now, or exit 8?
Tabor Station.
Tabor Station.
Yeah, I don't.
That's 8. Yeah, that's 8.
Yeah, 8.
So that's going to require water and sewer over there. So that's going to, the water department and sewer department are going to have to be involved with that. That's going to be quite costly. I don't know. I don't know what the state's flavor is right now. The governor has a real great approach, and he's telling everybody that he wants to be a team player. Come to him with your projects. But he's got this new thing he's talking about. You have to have skin in the game, and that's fine. Like the Development Authority has skin in the game. They bought the property, and we're hopeful that if the state wants to put this new center in across there that there's going to be some help to get water and sewer across there. That's very expensive to bore under the interstate there to get water.
But by the same token, John, there's developments moving that to area as well. So having water and sewer under the 81 is not going to be for a single purpose.
It will
It's
not
going
be.
to have a lot of downstream benefits.
Sure. But we're going to try to have the state be as part of that as much as they can maybe through the WDA, through Water Development Authority, IJDC, something like that, to try to be a part of that. The governor wants to be a part of it. I don't know where they stand on the STIF. I've done quite a few TIFs and STIFs on the House floor. It was kind of one of those things. And when I first got to the legislature, I didn't know anything about TIFs or STIFs. So I'd worked with Clay Riley. Yeah. And Clay is very knowledgeable in that. And so I did the STIF for the Harris County project. I did the STIF for the Hilltop House. On the House floor.
Oh, the Hilltop House is stiff as well?
Yes, it has a stiff too. Yeah.
I understand there's only 3 or 4 or 5 stiffs in the state.
There's not many of them, but I mean, to me, all in, you're talking 10 years of development. Now, if this project happens, and that's an if, we don't know. There's a lot of things that need to be worked through. Like I said, I'm optimistic and hope it does happen, but we have to make sure the numbers work. We have to make sure that the support is there locally and from the state level, and making sure that this is a fiscally responsible project and it can sustain itself. But, all in, it's going to take 10 years to develop this place. All in, the STIF is $12 million. $12 million. $12 million to the state. It's not a lot of money.
It's $5 billion state budget.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money. For the legislature, and I don't want to get out in front of my skis here. I don't know where the legislature is on this, and I'm going to be spending some time down there this year and kind of see where they are on the STIF. But all in 10 years development, $12 million worth of tax revenue that you would never have in the first place.
Well, that's right. STIF is sales tax specific, right?
Yeah, sure. And this is
so without the development, there would be no sales tax to begin with.
Right. It's taxed. There's no tax on it, and the tax that the county gives up in the TIF is right now it's taxed as farm property. So it's at a farm rate or maybe even salvage rate. I'm not. The state loves to do things at salvage.
So argue the other side for me. What's
$12 million worth of sales tax revenue that they can go into the general revenue coffers of the legislature, and the legislature is working very, very hard. And I was a part of this process. The legislature is working very, very hard to get rid of personal property taxes and cut our income tax. So they're looking for revenues wherever they can find revenue to offset what they want to cut. And I understand. I certainly understand that. But there's been two things that have happened in the legislature in the last year. Was now there's the state is taking a portion of ad valorem taxes for data centers, and I don't want to start beating this dead horse again. But so that's unprecedented in the legislature.
It should be beat.
Yeah, it's unprecedented in the legislature for them to take ad valorem taxes, which is local taxes collected to pay for local services. This is what pays for your fire, your police, your EMS, your 911 dispatch. That's what ad valorem taxes pay for. So that's a little unprecedented. And they want to say, well, it's like coal severance. No, it's not. Coal severance tax is completely different. Coal severance tax is a value-added tax that is collected on a commodity. It's not an ad valorem tax.
John, 2 questions. We may have to flow over in the next 30 minutes. Can this sports complex be realistically developed without a STIF?
I don't think so. I think if it doesn't have a STIF, I don't think. And I think that's probably going to be one of the key factors to make sure. But and this. Listen, I don't want to get too worked up here. I have you guys know I can get a little worked up a little sometimes.
Go for it.
Yeah. But because and this is what works me up is because the Eastern Panhandle was held to a completely different standard than a lot of other places in the state, and that was one of the things that frustrated the hell out of me in the legislature was, we were always held to a different standard, and and I've said this before and I'll say it again. There's a lot of people down there that enjoyed kicking us in the teeth.
Yeah. One of the legislators has texted in and asking, will they be far enough along that the legislators can take action on a STIF this coming session?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I think so. Yeah. The Development Authority is working on all that stuff right now, and they're working with their lawyers, and I'm sure that it's never too soon to get started. Especially, me, I'm an economic development guy. That's what I kind of hung my shingle on, and I don't think we should ever be standing in the way of economic development, especially if we're taking, that small of a portion of sales tax from a $5 billion budget. You know, I mean, like I said, you're talking 10 years to develop that place up there.
And Bill, you said one of the legislators. That was Mike Hornby.
Mike Hornby, yes, I was.
Big. He's the big deal.
He is a big deal, especially
and
around
he's the
this
owner.
table.
Yeah. Well, and you know,
so we're going to give Mike full
not just
Mike,
any legislator.
Is Mike Hornby that asked that question?
Is this an access strategies project to get this passed?
I don't know. It's definitely will probably be a county commission association project, but I don't know. We haven't got that far yet. But we usually sit down and talk about our priorities. It'll be a John Hardy priority. I know that. So, but Mike Hornby's my boy. So you know, I mean,
what about the rest of the Eastern Panhandle delegation? You think they'll be on board?
I think Hornby, Height, Horst. I don't know about Lisa White or Chris Anders. I don't know.
Lisa apparently is not going to run for re-election.
She's not, but she'll still be in the session. She'll still be there this session. So I don't know what Lisa's thought process is on, you know, using sales tax money to come back to the county to, you know, fund a project in the county. I can't speak for.
I think this
Mr.
is
Anders.
the epitome of local control, is it not?
Oh well, listen, man. The legislature is all about local control until they're not. I mean, listen. I mean, I'm just as guilty. I mean, there's so much hypocrisy. I mean, and I'm just as guilty. I mean, I was a part of all of that too. So
I remember, John.
Sure,
I remember.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's politics.
That's
Hypocrisy.
Right, yeah. Chris Andrews was on yesterday, and we asked him a far range of questions, but that was not one of them. Next time we see Chris, I want to ask
Chris
him.
is like me. He's brutally honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you may not agree with him, you may agree with him, but he's like me. We're brutally honest. I'm going to tell you exactly where I stand.
And he's very entertaining.
He is.
Yeah. John, we've got about a minute left, and then you are going to stay with us for the entire hour.
I'd love to.
I don't want to open up a whole new subject here on you, other than to say I've got a giant jar of apple butter here. Do you know anything about this?
When we come back, let's talk about this apple butter. Yeah, for sure. We can talk about the Hardy apple butter, and Gilstrap's got his, and Gilstrap earned his, man. He
worked it,
and so did the admiral.
How did John work it? I
ate your food.
When I was there,
I drank some beer.
He was drinking your beer and eating your food. That's all I saw John.
That's
do.
one of the prerequisites.
I sat around the fire.
We'll talk about that when we come back.
Hey, deleting the inventory counts. You know, that helps. Every little bit helps.